It's the Chris Salcedo Show. I want to welcome our next guest, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Welcome back to the Chris Salcedo Show.
Chris, good morning. Good to be with you.
Let's start off in the high court, shall we? I know that you were the one ringing the bell pretty loudly about all of the treachery the Democrats have been dishing out over these years. They were always the ones pushing the envelope, and it always seemed to be the Republicans saying, no, we have to be statesmanlike. We have to exercise decorum. And finally, I think it reached critical mass, and a lot of we conservatives finally felt represented when the Democrats got a taste of their own medicine with the breaking of the filibuster and the nuclear option and putting Gorsuch on the court. What say you?
Well, last week was a big deal. It was a major victory. It was a major victory for President Trump. It was a major victory for conservatives, and it was a major victory for the American people. It was February of last year when Justice Scalia passed, and Justice Scalia had been a lion of the law, a truly legendary justice. And at the time, the Republican majority made clear that we were not going to fill the vacancy in the middle of a presidential election. Rather, we were going to let the people decide the direction of the court. And the two candidates promised very different directions for the court. This was the most transparent Supreme Court justice selection process in history. President Trump promised to nominate a justice in the mold of Justice Scalia. He put out a specific list of 21 individuals from whom he would nominate. So the voters had the list of exactly the 21 who would be considered. Neil Gorsuch was one of those 21. On the other hand, Hillary Clinton promised to nominate liberal judicial activists who would vote to undermine our free speech rights, undermine our religious liberty, undermine our Second Amendment rights. And this election, in a very real sense, was a referendum on the direction of the Supreme Court. And the people of Texas and the people of the country overwhelmingly chose a principled originalist on the court who will protect the Constitution and Bill of Rights. Last week, we confirmed Judge Gorsuch, and that's a great victory for all of us who cherish and revere the rule of law.
Now, this is something I would favor when your political opposition shoots themselves in the foot, as I believe the Democrats did in filibustering. I think it's incumbent on the other party to take full advantage of it. Would you recommend, if you have the president's ear on this, the next vacancy on the court be filled with another strict constructionalist, somebody who's a rock-ribbed conservative jurist in the vein of a Justice Scalia, and because the Democrats now at this point have nothing to say about it?
Absolutely. And I think we're likely to see another vacancy potentially as soon as this summer. I think we'll see a vacancy either this summer or next summer. And on one level, the Gorsuch seat was simply playing defense. We're not going to get a justice who's better than Justice Scalia. He was as good as it gets. And so nominating Justice Gorsuch, we could now hope is maintaining the status quo, keeping a strong conservative in that seat. The next vacancy, the odds are significant. It would change the balance on the court and have the potential for a significantly more conservative court. And if that's the case, we can fully anticipate that the Democrats will treat it like Armageddon. They will fire every weapon they have. And I think it is critical that President Trump keep his promise. When he made that promise, it wasn't just the Scalia seat. He said that every one of his Supreme Court justices would be in the mold of Justice Scalia. I expect him to keep that promise. All of us do, and I'm certainly going to work closely with the president and the administration to help them honor that promise for every vacancy that occurs.